Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I want to talk about 5 reasons that the Black community, Black folks, we need to get real about mental health because we've been talking about this for ages. We always talk about how we're not supportive, we don't incorporate, we don't partake, we don't encourage, we don't utilize, we don't some of us don't even believe in mental health. But today I want to talk about 5 reasons we need to get real about it because mental health is real and it is impacting us and it is hurting us. And if we don't get real about it, we're gonna continue to keep hurting. First reason is we're living in times that are challenging our mental health, especially if you've just the last few months have just been really tough on people around the country and definitely on the Black community. We started with the pandemic and then we went into all this racial unrest, and we are just living in times, and not even just the last month, just the last few years have been really tough on us. The anxiety levels are really high, depression is high, anger is high. People are experiencing all sorts of new emotions they don't understand, that they haven't experienced before, that they don't know how to deal with. We have a lot going on. And when we're too busy pretending that, hey, mental health is not a thing, mental health does not exist, we don't have mental health issues, we're making it hard for people to get the help that we need. We're depriving ourselves of the help that we need. And instead of getting better, we just continue to get worse because instead of getting help to deal with these issues in a positive way, we're doing things that are counterproductive, things that don't help, or things that make the situation worse. So we're living in times that are challenging to our mental health. And because of that, it is critical that we start getting real about mental health. Two, we need to stop asking Jesus to do what God, or God to do what God has equipped us to do. We were given resources. We were given tools. We were given the resources to handle the situation. We were giving the help. You're not leaving your cancer to God. You're not just taking your cancer to God because you know that God gave you medication, God gave you doctors, God gave you hospitals, God gave you surgery, and you're utilizing those resources. So it's important that we take that same approach. We cannot keep asking God to do what God has said. Hey, here's the resource. This is how you fix it. This is what you need to do about it. Once you have been given the tools, once you have been given the resources, it is up to you to take the next step. Sitting there and telling people to pray on it, take it to God, talk to your pastor, that is not helping. We need to get real. Mental health is not something that you sit and pray on. Mental health is something that is as real as any other condition, as any other issue that you face, and you have to deal with it just like you deal with any other issue. Unless you're sitting there and praying your broken leg away, you cannot sit there and pray your mental health conditions away. We need to stop. We need to be real about it. We need to realize that it is a thing. It is something that's there. It's something that is impacting us, and it is something that is hurting us because we're failing to address it. Three, we need to make it okay. We need to make it okay for people um to get help. We need to make it okay for people to understand that, or for people to accept that they're not okay. We need to make it okay for people to understand or to accept that, hey, mental health issues can be addressed. Mental health issues can be helped. There are resources, there are um opportunities, there are tools that we can use to help us deal with the stuff that we're dealing with. We have to make it okay. And until we start getting real about it, until we start accepting that, hey, this is not a made up thing, this is something that actually exists, we're not going to make it okay for the people in our community to seek the help that they need. And what ends up happening is people keep suffering silently, people keep struggling unnecessarily because the resources, the help is there, but because we're making it not okay. We're telling people it's not okay that you need this help. They are unable to reach out and get that help. Sometimes they don't even They don't have access to that help. They don't know where that help is because they have been or they grew up and are existing in a society that says, hey, you may not have that help. You do not want that help. You do not need that help. No, the help is there. It is there for them. It is there for all of us. And we need to make it okay for people to use that help. 4, suicide rates are increasing. The over the last few years, one of the biggest ones that we've heard is that the suicide rates in Black male have increased, and they continue to do all the studies on it and finding this. And one of the reasons is we're telling people, hey, you cannot have mental health issues, you cannot have stress, you cannot have this. If you tell the person, hey, they cannot have this problem that they have, then they're not feeling, they don't have, you're telling them that they can't get help for this problem because they don't have that problem. They're not allowed to have that problem. Suicide rates are increasing because we're not allowing, we're not encouraging, we're not supporting people in our community to get the help, to get the mental health resources, to get the mental health services that they need. So in order for us to start addressing the fact that our community is hurting, people in our community are hurting, people in our community are dying, in order for us to start addressing that, we need to make sure that we deal with the fact that, hey, we need to start embracing mental health as a part of health, as a part of human health. Until we start doing that, people are going to continue to struggle, and many of them will struggle to the point where they feel that they can't do it anymore and do as many have done, which was taking their lives. And another thing that I always want to mention is that whenever you look at suicide rates, the thing that we should, for right now, the big thing has been that suicide rates and Black men have increased. We don't know there's always that rate of attempt, because we get the numbers of suicides that were completed, as in the person attempted to kill themselves and they succeeded and the suicide was completed. But a number of attempted suicides did not get were not reported, were not caught, do not get reported as attempted suicides because you may not know. And if the rate in Black males is increasing, it's probably going up in Black women too. But with women generally, and that's just overall, women tend to use, I guess you could say, softer methods, whereas men use more things like guns and things that really more like one and done type of situations, whereas women, the methods that they use often are things that sometimes get caught. Maybe the person where sometimes they may think, oh, it was an accident, but it really was not an accident. So our suicide rates are getting too high, so we need to make sure that we're making it okay for people to get the resources they need before they get to that point. Finally, parents who are not okay raise children who are not okay. Many people, very often we hear people talk about how their parents did wrong, where their parents went wrong and how that's an issue or how that's impacting them. And then you turn around and you start doing the same thing to your children. Parents who are not okay end up raising children who are not okay. If you're not taking the time to deal with your issues, to address all your mental, whether it's mental health, physical health, all your issues, if you're not taking your time to be your best person, then you're not going to be able to be the best parent that your child deserves, because you're something is missing. You're lacking, you're missing something, you're hurting, you're not fully there. If you're hurting, you're not fully there. You're not able to give your child the best, and you're also giving your child the I don't want to say the wrong example, but I guess that kind of would be the word to use. You're not giving yourself that example of, hey, I take care of myself. Hey, I handle issues. Hey, I do things. Hey, when things are going wrong, I take care of it. We need to be setting that example for our children, and we need to be showing them how to deal with issues. We need to be how to deal with issues in a healthy way. We need to be giving that example. So if parents who are not okay raise children who are not okay, then is this what you want for your child? Do you want your child to grow up and have the same struggle that you're dealing with because you're not taking care of business? So that said, we have to really take the time and get real about mental health, because mental health is real and it is impacting us. Let's do a quick recap. 1, we are living in times that are super challenging to our mental health. Our anxiety levels, our depression levels, and a lot of other stuff are going up, and we need to take the time to deal with that. 2, we need to stop asking God or asking Jesus to handle what we have been equipped to do. God has given us the resources, and we need to use them instead of going back and saying, hey, I know you give me the resource, but can you do it anyway? 3, we need to make it okay for people to have mental health issues, for people to seek assistance, for people to even acknowledge that mental health is something that actually exists. 4, suicide rates in our community are going up, and that has been one of the reasons for that, is because we're not allowing people, we're not encouraging, we're not promoting, we're not allowing mental health to be a thing in our community. So if mental health is not a thing, a lot of times people get tired of hurting, and that's the way they find to stop the pain. But if we could take the time and help them deal with the issues, hopefully they won't reach that point. And finally, parents who are not okay raise children who are not okay. If you as a parent are not dealing with your issue, you're not able to be your best self. You're not able to be your best parent, the best parent that you can be for your child. And of course, you're not giving your child the right example of, hey, this is how we deal with issues. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that even right now, when so many things are so chaotic, there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing to help, and are even providing remote services. So if you happen to need them, please make sure you figure out who those people are in your community, so that if you happen to need them, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.